morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning. The greatest dads ever of all time. I think it's the #1 greatest dad or something like that. But now it's almost semi-invisible. But I know what it says
It's
deep
because you're
inside.
undisputed already.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
like
it is.
yeah,
Maybe that's what
because
it
like
is.
it's not even bothering to show it because number two isn't even around for contention. So there's like, it's
#2 should be back in action soon. So he has Gordo
ooh,
finally has completed his move over there. So he should be joining us in the mornings. Maybe not always on Wednesday and stuff like that, but we're hoping like maybe like the Tuesday or Thursday or something like that. Once we do the podathon and we come back with the beginning of the season and stuff like that, looking to go back to like 5 days a week. So every morning kind of a deal. So trying to get that scheduled coming your way. Hopefully, like I say, once the podathon is over and I'm back in my own town and all that kind of stuff, we'll probably go to, and then pretty much we'll end up being like with the beginning of the season. We'll go down to like 5 weeks, if you will, practice schedule over here. So speaking of, people, schedule, responsibilities, while we woke up in the crack of dawn to watch the game live, you were snoring, from what I understand, and did not get to see the preseason.
yeah. I can't even pull the alarm excuse because it did ring, and I was like, what the hell did I put this alarm for again? And then I went back to sleep. And then when I woke up for the actual alarm for my regular scheduled programming, I was like, oh right, because the first thing I did was open YouTube because I was looking to continue a video that I was listening to last night. The first thing I see is you and Bickler live watching it. And I was like, oh, so that's what that alarm was for. Okay.
Nice. That's
Nice. Okay.
quality.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it's there was probably a few shouts by rival fans when he went 1-0 down though. Saw that on Twitter, right? But obviously Wirtz's first goal, like you're more informed about the whole ordeal than myself, Tim. So what did you kind of take away from this one?
A lot of positives. I thought there were a lot more positives to take from this one than the AC Milan game. And I'm not saying that because of the final score or anything like
Right.
that. But I mean, the pitch was brutal, it looked like, especially in the first half. So I thought that played a big part of it. Um, but it was like very disconnected. But even within that, you do see some stuff that you're like, oh, like look at the quality there. Oh, look at the speed there and stuff like that. Um, I can already sense, I already did the foreshadowing, but there might be a lot of like overpassing going on between like Mo and Wirtz. But I really do think that's gonna be a ridiculous deal. We're gonna see a lot of, you kind of had that with Bobby too. I think sometimes it was like pass it to death kind of a
Yeah.
thing. We can't dribble into the goal, like let's just freaking like shoot at the end kind of a deal. But
Hmm.
yeah, so I can see some of that. But once that gets going, once these people get used to each other in a game setting, because it
Oh
is
yeah.
different than just doing like a scrimmage and stuff like that. The first half in that sense was had moments of promise, but then like nothing like the second half where it felt a lot more under control and we couldn't put our finger on it. We didn't know if it was like because Mecca was introduced and he was kind of like running the midfield. I don't know if it was the fact that we had so many people on the pitch who were trying to earn a spot and prove themselves, as opposed to guys maybe going out there saying this pitch is shit. Like let's not get injured over here. Like
Oh
keep it
yeah.
under control, play our game. Work on some of the things we practiced, but not go all out. But Neone, Rio, I thought both looked excellent. Which we'll talk about Rio
Right. I was
because
about to ask, like, because I remember during our last show 2 weeks ago, we both were in agreement that putting too much stock in this Rio thing is quite the risk. Like, and obviously against Milan, against the Japanese team for this friendly, I don't know. I mean, I'm the last guy. I am historically for any sport. I do not like relying on young guys in a season where I think anyone with common sense, right? Although there is a fringe group of Liverpool fans out there who think he's a genuine second option for that left wing, which
he's making a case, man.
he's
I'll tell
making a
you what,
case.
he is really making a
He is
case.
making a case, but then, like I guess my question is what I'm trying to drive at is did the last two games move the needle for you?
It has, honestly. I mean, I've seen him a lot with the U team and stuff like that, and he does not do some of the things that I'm like, okay, like release the ball, kids.
Right.
Kind of like diving into three people and stuff. He can definitely take a player on and beat him. That's good. His finishing is really good. His placement is good. I just think, he doesn't look like a 16-year-old strength wise or anything like that either. Do you want to rely on him? Probably no. But at the same time, I can see the decision makers kind of like think twice and maybe see how things go before they make another move in terms of left wing. Like
Mm,
having him and the possibility of like Ekitike, for example, playing on the
playing
left,
left. Yeah.
it can make the Hughes and Edwards and stuff think about, we get Isak, we might be set over here in terms of depth kind of thing. Because you have
Oh, for sure.
can also play right wing. And you might be able to just go get like another project person or something like that who can play multiple positions and call it a window, obviously with like a center back. And that would be quite the window. I was just like commenting that on like a couple of WhatsApp chats. Like that would be quite the summer if they can wrap it up like that. He's definitely making a case. But as I was telling Victor, when we were chatting, it's easy right now because you were saying it about Nunez, like, oh man, there's a player in there, kind of a thing. It's very
Listen,
easy to say all that stuff in
listen.
July. In the preseason game where you watch, you're like, oh man, Nunez can still do something, or this Rio kid. It's a lot easier to do that now. The key is, especially with Nunez, in a couple of months over here, when we're trying to get a goal in and he's doing some of the things that he normally does, like he's offside or, like he misses and stuff like
Or
that,
he
can't
headbutts
control
the
a ball.
defender, gets sent off.
Yes. I mean, those are the things like you got to kind of keep having those flashbacks so that you don't make the same mistake over and over. It's like an abusive relationship where you keep just going back to the same partner
Oh
over and
yeah.
over again. It's like you just got to cut it off at one point.
I believe it was Gordo who made that analogy about the really hot ex who you just the hope just doesn't completely fade away. You feel like that I can still fix her kind of deal with
Yes.
with Nunez. I saw a clip of the miss during the first half, I think, where he started, and I was like, oh, we are so back. Like Darwin Nunez missing a clear cut chance. Like the season's about to start. Like here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. To your point about Rio, in terms of the profile though, like I know we'll get into Diaz, which I'm sure you're like rubbing your hands, like waiting for us to talk about
Yes.
Diaz and stuff like that. But in terms of the profile of that player, of that attacker, he's exactly what we need. Losing Diaz, like someone who's not afraid to take on
Yeah.
someone who's like, listen, I always say that I am slightly for Gakpo over Diaz, but he doesn't do what Diaz does, which is just be fearless, take chances, and put his body on the line. And like we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. What is too many changes, right? For the front line. And
Yeah.
We lost Diogo due to circumstances that weren't planned, of course. But losing Diaz here, that's still losing 2/3 of a championship winning front three. So it's going to be hard to replicate.
Yes.
Hopefully, if our backs against the wall and we have to rely on Rio, I do see at least the profile of someone that that would take people on. If that
Going forward, yes. The thing that is overlooked by haters like yourself is like the work that
I was
he
waiting
did
for it.
coming back and running and like defensive work rate, the pressure and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you're going to be able to get that from Rio yet.
Yeah.
But yes, in terms of like going forward, taking people on, either with like speeds, or we saw in the goal, like he can kind of cut and take a shot and stuff like that too. He did it earlier in the second half as well. So you have the attacking threat there. Will he be able to do the same defensive work? And that's probably like the bigger question. But I mean, we looked at it. He's turning 19 and 17 in like a month over here, like end of August. So he's a very young kid still.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, do you want to put that much pressure on him? But we talk about all these changes. Honestly, the starting 11 look like, obviously you would have Ali in goal. He had to go to Brazil for like personal reasons and stuff because Mamardashvili was in goal. But it looked like the starting. This is how we start the season in the back four with Kirkes on left, Bradley on the right, and obviously Van Dijk and Konate. Midfield, I mean, Gravenberg is not going to be there, so you would probably have Mac. And up top, you had Ikitike, and then you had Gakpo and Mo.
Yeah.
So if you do not do any other major moves, which you almost like have to now that you sold Diaz, you have to get something up top. But I guess I'll ask you that. If it's just Isak coming up top, do you think that's enough? And you'll be like, we're good.
It all depends how Ekitike plays that left wing, I feel. Because I feel like we're talking about Rio here, but I feel like Slot would genuinely see a senior player to be that backup second option. And he's not averse to doing that. Literally, he played Diaz at the false nine last year, even though that's not his natural position. So I feel like there is like an Ekitike to left wing argument there. Or who knows, we might keep Chiesa and then he shoehorns him in there. Like it's not the worst thing in the world to have, but I understand the level of uncertainty, which is what I have right now. Because what if we get into a period like last year where Gakpo gets injured and then he comes back, and then him coming back is kind of rushed. He doesn't look like the same player that he was like during the first few months. We don't have a Diaz to kind of bail us out like he did towards the end of the season. And you and I were talking about it that when Mo was in that scoring drought, it was essentially Diaz who kind of tried to lift everyone up in that attack, and he did well to an extent.
Look at you singing his praises now that he's gone.
I mean, you know what they say, man. Like, you never really truly appreciate what you have until they're gone. And, like, all jokes aside, listen, I don't hate Diaz. Like, this is just Tim gaslight. This is like gaslighting Wednesdays, right? Like, but yeah, I'm still worried because, first of all, like I haven't seen enough of Ekitike. Like, we've seen the clips, and that's him in the middle. We haven't seen him at all left wing. So I'm worried about that a little bit.
And honestly, a lot of it is almost like us trying to
find a solution for it.
Yes, like make it into a reality. Where like, you know, and people said the same thing about Nunez, and he actually did not do poorly on the wing.
I mean,
that's mainly because he
has
the speed. Like, you know, he has the speed to go, you know, run past people and stuff like that. But I mean, again, I think if you get Isak in, it would feel like you would almost need somebody who's a winger that can play right or left. I don't think Chiesa is that guy. I think Chiesa you move on for 10, 12, 15, whatever it is. Even if you even out, you kind of like move on and get somebody reliable because he's already has fitness issues and he's not there in the preseason. So I don't think you want to count on him as, you know, somebody who is going to be there long run and be like an option. I mean, everybody, I think, like one of the chats I was in, Stefano was saying, like, Rio could, I think that's an ideal scenario where Rio basically fills in for Chiesa. He gets Chiesa minutes. Where, you know, I mean, it's very limited, but he comes in 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there and stuff like that. Hopefully a bit more than what Chiesa got, but that's kind of like, I think, a lot more realistic and ideal scenario. We don't know what happened with Ali D. I mean, I haven't read anything. It just said personal, and maybe that's why it's quiet because it is personal, and it could be as simple as like, you know, like something in the family and stuff like that. So I mean, hopefully that's all it is, and it's nothing like too serious, but we'll see. I mean, that was the thing I liked about Diaz is it was a guy who tried to play like he was trying to earn a spot, even though he had the spot every single minute he was out there. And that's kind of like what you want out of a player.
Resounding success of a signing. It just hurts to think about what could have been if that dumbass who played for Arsenal didn't injure him during his second full season. And I think he got his ACL. I'm not sure I don't remember what he got. But I feel like the Diaz that we saw during the second half of that season where we were going for the quadruple, I feel like there was like another level to that Diaz, and that became kind of limited after he got that major injury when we played Arsenal that, you know, the season after.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Like, I feel like, you know, we kind of like maximize what we can get out of him.
For sure.
In terms of skill sets and stuff like that, I thought it was like, kind of like dead on in that sense. But yeah, I know what you mean. Probably could have, like, finishing was probably the only thing, which got really better and better as he was on the team. Like, last season, you go back and the beginning of the season, he had a lot of goals when we were winning those like 2-0 and stuff like that. He played a big part in there and like setting it up, or either as like goal contribution wise. And yeah, but with him being gone now for really good money, so it is a good business for everybody involved. We were talking about it all day Monday and stuff, and it just got basically finalized today. But now it kind of gives you kind of like options and further more money to spend on other moves. And I'll tell you what, today, and I was telling Bickler during the watch along as well, every time I see Neoni play, it's kind of, to me, in my head, and I don't know if it's the same with like Edwards and Hughes, but it makes Elliott a bit more sellable every time I watch Neoni play, because I feel like he can do a lot of those things that we liked Elliott doing. And I think he might have a possibly higher ceiling, because I think as he grows into the body, he's going to be like a lot bigger presence and lot stronger than mid.
I think last preseason I called him Baby Gravenberg. So
yes,
I think that's all that needs to be said there. That we have some player there. It would be nice to have someone who can do a 1:1 or close to a 1:1 for Gravenberg, right? But on that note of transfers, on that note of outgoings and incomings, I don't think we're linked to any midfielder, which I still feel like we can do with.
You think so? We were talking about this. Like, do we need another midfielder?
Do you you've seen the last two matches. I've seen bits of the AC Milan match. What do you make of Szoboszlai in that holding role? I think that depends a lot on that.
Oh, I mean, again, Szoboszlai today, you can kind of see, I mean, his ball winning and stuff. Today it was kind of weird because some of these like poor controls and stuff like that, everybody was doing it, including Wirtz and even Mo and stuff like that. So like they would bringing the ball down was easy, it felt like, because that's air. But once it was on the ground and it was bouncing all over the place, like it felt like everybody had trouble with it the first half, especially the first half. But you can see like some of the balls he keeps winning and stuff like that. He is very, very important to that.
Yeah, I was actually worried about that because last year there were some instances where you wanted to get where I felt like when he tried to win the ball up top, it would have been lacking a little bit. But then that could have been because he's so high up, he knows that there's another layer that can win the ball after him. Like he still got Maka and Gravenberg, and after that he still got Konate and Verge to kind of so I guess he didn't want to expend as much energy with winning the ball, but that was my concern. But if you say
who with Dom?
Yeah, with Dom. Like
really?
There were I felt that there were times
I thought he was the biggest ball winner we had last year.
I thought he was the best presser we had. Like in terms of forcing an opponent to a mistake, not necessarily winning the ball, or rather forcing someone because of the press to feed it into a position where Maka and Gravenberg can win it easier, if that makes sense. It might be nitpicking because it's a championship.
But that's winning the ball. I mean, winning the ball doesn't necessarily mean that you have to win the ball. That's winning the ball back for the team.
My definition of winning, I was under the impression that we were talking about winning the ball directly, because that is what would be asked of him now, right? If he's going to move deeper, he has to win that. He can't be the guy that leads the press that leads to someone winning it. He'd have to win it more directly, if that makes sense. And that kind of worried me a little bit, if that makes sense, last year. But
yeah, see, I very disagree on that one. I thought he was the biggest ball winner we had. I mean, you're basically considering ball winning as at the end gaining the possession.
Yeah.
I'm considering it more than, I mean, if you're pressing, that's your job. You don't have to necessarily take the ball away and start dribbling away with it. You're like forcing the mistake. You're basically helping the team regain the possession. And then what I like about him is even when he's out of the picture initially, like when you feel like they were able to play through him, because of his defensive work rate, he walks back into this, like he runs back into the situation again and then wins the ball. So anytime you almost felt like, oh, they played around him there. Nope, they didn't. He's right back in it again, like forcing the turnover and stuff. I mean, I consider forcing a turnover or forcing a bad pass and stuff winning the ball. I know what you're saying as a defensive midfielder, but
there's
not
less room
necessarily again. Like,
right,
not,
but
they don't have to
there's
win the ball and
less.
start dribbling with it.
Well, I guess my point is like there's less room for error for him to be bypassed. Like if he's going to engage, especially in the areas where Gravenberch is in or McAllister is in, I feel like there should be a higher chance of you winning it, if that makes sense. And again, this is nitpicking a championship winning midfield, and if it works out for him, then good, right? If he's excellent at what he does during using that holding role, then great. Because that was my only worry. Because it looks like, I didn't watch the game, but looking at the 11 that we started with, the Gravenberch on the left side of that holding midfield, him on that right side, Wirtz is the 10. That, I mean, so the slot probably sees him as depth or even a first choice option for those two holders, right? So
I mean, I think the fact that he can do it, along with Jones can do it, you still have Endo who can do it. I think you have enough depth in there if you trust, and I do trust those two to be able to come in and do a job. I mean, I don't know if you want to say
man.
like Endo out there every game, but I do trust them to play a midweek game or come in the last 20 minutes and stuff like that for Jones and Endo and Szoboszlai. Yeah, we disagree on Szoboszlai. I think he was kind of like key in terms of like the running he did, especially when you get so much shitty pressing from your center forward, if they're Nunez or somebody like that. I think it was key. And I think that's why we did better when Diaz was in the middle, because I thought it was the like that pressing worked well together, because then you get much more effort over here. Dara is nitpicking over here. You know what he meant. I'm sure you know what he meant, Dara.
I mean, I don't want to be I don't want to be an asshole, man.
Yeah, I would assume that you know what he meant. But how good it was, Mac? I mean, that's another thing. It's like, we were talking about, I guess, the challenges. You don't want to lose Dom from there, right? I don't, at least. Sounds like you're risking that. I don't, because I really feel like he's kind of like more of the engine. He's more of like what like Hando was, in that sense, where he does a lot of the pressing and stuff that you might not see and notice and stuff, but it's like a huge factor over there. Tony says the post-match comment is, yeah, I mean, we'll get back to that because I still don't understand how that can be a thing. But anywho, going back to that midfield, Maka, you see in the second half, is very key to that. We know Gravenberch is very important as well. And now you have Wirtz that you want out there, obviously, with the investment being done on him and what he can do. I just don't know. Like, you got to find a way to almost have all four out there.
Yeah. And that's the challenge, I guess. But it's also sort of an embarrassment of riches. Because as good as Dom was in the 10 last year, you have the best 10 in the world, right? So you can't put the best 10. You can't not place the best 10 in the world at the 10, right? You have to play him there.
That's what I mean. Like, a lot of people are talking about him because he can like play the left wing and stuff like that, but you didn't get him to play the left wing.
Right. It's like if we get Isak and we let him play because he has decent cutting inside technique, play him left wing or something.
Yes.
Like, why?
Yeah, why? But isn't that what everybody's doing with Ekitike?
Yeah, but then that's kind of
the Isak, but like that's what everybody's doing with Ekitike.
Well, the thing is, man, it is Isak, right?
No, I get that, but I'm almost like people are trying to convince themselves that it makes a lot of sense, kind of a deal. And I don't think, does it really? Not necessarily kind of a deal. I mean, you're not going to say anything else, but see, Dara says, I thought Dom was average in every position he played last season. The problem with Dom is once he gets the ball, I think that's like the problem. And maybe that's why he's better at like a defensive position, because his final third passing, once we counter-pressed and won the ball, what we did with the ball or what he did with the ball, like the decision making or when to make the pass and stuff like that. That's I thought what was lacking with Szoboszlai last year. Defensive wise, he was great.
To kind of do on the flip side for Szoboszlai here, because I might have been criticizing him a little bit earlier. He actually had the second most goal assists against the Big Six last year after Mo. So I remember seeing that.
What is the Big Six? Why? See, you have to put a qualifier in there.
No,
do you look at last season, or do you look at Dom's
no? I mean,
game?
that's a good thing. I'm not.
It is a good thing, but I'm just saying,
I mean, what I'm saying is like Dara is saying he's average, but then at the same time, he wasn't average enough for us to not to win the league, and he wasn't average enough not to show up when we played the big boys.
I don't know that I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think, like he's basically, he can do a lot of things, maybe like similar to like Henderson in that sense, right? Like, not great at anything, but I mean, I think average is not fair, but like above average at everything, but not great at anything, kind of a ordeal with him. I think he wins the ball a lot. I just felt like he could have done a lot better. And I mean, Slot has said this too, that, somebody playing that position for the Liverpool Football Club has to put up a lot better numbers than he would.
Yeah, I mean, and again, to my point, there was still a ceiling there, but it was still pretty good. Good enough for us to win it.
I think so.
Good enough for us to win it all. And there's still a ceiling. And that ceiling, we made up for it and then some by getting the best 10 in the world.
And that's the thing, but it will be interesting to see like how that's worked out, because I do still think you cannot. I do want to see Mecca and Wirtz out there at the same time, because that'll be like an interesting experiment with Gravenberg, because I think that will show. Because I mean, anybody who watched the match, I mean, you can kind of see Wirtz winning a lot of balls up top as well. He knows when to kind of like, close down and get the pressure on and like win the ball and stuff. Ekitike as well, actually. I thought that was pretty much good. But yeah, see, I disagree. We're not agreeing with anything with Dara this morning. I mean, the Big Six is the Big Six. Yeah. And I think I don't agree with the fact that, I mean, it does change every season, but does it really change that much? I think I understand, and that's why when you throw out that stats, yes, it kind of means something, because it's like, because some players gets like a lot of slack for like disappearing in big games and stuff like that. But I don't know, we're in a league now where like, every freaking game matters. Maybe not last season, but like before, you had to win every game. So what you do week in and week out, the consistency is more important to me than sucking ass for like 3 weeks, being average, and then showing up against like, I don't know, like United or Spurs or something like that.
I get it. And I guess my counterpoint to Dara, and this is just like a friendly discussion because we're all Liverpool fans here. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't play as much positions last year. He mostly played the 10. Like 85% of the season, he mostly played the 10.
Yes, he did last year.
Right. And what is the Big Six? It changes every season. It means nothing. It meant something. We won the league. So him performing on those games meant something. Listen, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like, I know I was critical of Szoboszlai early on, but not as critical to sort of downplay all the good that he gave us last year. It's kind of like Diaz, right? Like, I know you make fun of me with Diaz. Like, he has his flaws, but again, he did enough, and he had a great season for us last year, second best attacker.
I thought so too. I mean, especially in the beginning of the season, and it all goes back to, I mean, I keep saying this. He's the one who, at the end, went to the middle where we need somebody in there. I mean, I get this point, but honestly, that sounds very, if anybody, Dara, you can't play this game, man. I hate to say it, but you can't be, picking up on Championship and Premier League, then ask us who the Big Six is, because if you're doing terminology, then I'm assuming you know terminology. And you know who the Big Six would be.
You want to argue,
not every Big Six is going to be in good form, but they're ultimately still considered, like the top teams that go against. I'm not too big on comparing like those games compared to the other ones, but I know what you're saying in terms of there's a certain value to that, because you got you can't suck ass against Arsenal if you're competing with them for the title or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we're arguing semantics here, I feel like the ultimate semantic is the ultimate like thing that tosses all the semantics out the window is whenever we had a big game, whenever we had everyone available, Slot started him as the 10. And when he started majority of games, we won the league.
Yeah,
So,
and honestly, like going back to Cersei's point over here, like there was a lot we missed him. We did miss him, and you could kind of tell he was missing. And I think Cersei is right there. You kind of like tell the value of a player, kind of like we did with Mecca at the end of the season. And I know it was kind of like everything was kind of like down. We didn't care as much. It was like the end of the season, and it was already in the bag and everything. But you kind of can tell the value of a player when you miss them the moment they're gone, and like their backup cannot do some of the things that they do and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Dara, you just
I mean, he
argued at
played
this
one
point.
game, Dara. Soboslai played 90% of the games at the 10. So it's like apples and oranges.
Yeah, that is apples and oranges. I mean, Endo plays center back at times too. That's not. I think the point is he was a successful attacking midfielder of the title-winning team, and I think yeah. I mean, calling him average, I think, is like very disrespectful to what he does, because his performance overall in that midfield was key. And honestly, like the midfield was probably key to the success last year, as odd as it's to say, but I get the same thing. I mean, like, nobody appreciated what Hendo did until, Hendo's legs fell off and we couldn't do shit. And then it was like,
Wijnaldum
the
as
team
well.
is falling apart. But he wasn't doing anything. So why is his leg falling apart a big deal now? Because it was always a freaking big deal. People were just too blind to see it. Because if you don't see them on the score sheets, or if you just watch the highlights and you don't see them in the highlights, you don't understand it and you don't value what they
with
did.
Wijnaldum as well. Like that midfield we had when we won the league a few years ago with Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson. Like there were people going like, "What is this workman like blue collar midfield?" But then
But that was the system, though, right? Like it was
I know.
designed to you guys get the ball, give it to the three up top.
Yeah. I'm not throwing this as a criticism. It's just that people just go like, "What do they even do?" But then when they're not doing what they do, that's when you notice that things are not being done.
Yeah, it was like the ridiculous work rate. They were a huge part of the press. I mean, I feel like Hendo got the same thing when he was playing. Everybody was like, he only passes sideways and back and stuff like that. And that's basically people who don't appreciate like a hard working midfielder is all that was at the time. But so with the Diaz thing complete now, with that being done,
I love how we got Diaz kind of got overshadowed by Sobo here, and you didn't get to throw.
Yeah, we ended up talking more about.
You didn't get to make fun of me with Diaz. I gotta say, for the record, and I hopefully the algorithm picks this up when I make shorts later. Luis Diaz song, absolute banger. It's top 3 for me, man.
Dude, I was like, we were at Milwaukee and at like the German Fest, and they have all these like different music things and stuff. And literally, as I was looking at my phone, and because that was like when it was being finalized and stuff like that, they were playing the Diaz song. Well, like not the Diaz song, but they were playing the song in the background. I was like, oh, they're playing the Diaz song, and I was like, man, after Bobby, there goes like another great song, kind of like a deal, but. Let's talk about this, because I know you had shared the tweets. I don't know where the hell I have it now, but this is coming from Lewis Steele at the end in terms of.
He's like semi-reliable, though. If I'm not mistaken, he's like
pretty decent. I would consider him pretty decent overall. But Mo Salah is presumably Liverpool's new vice captain. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. The only thing that I really liked hearing about Robertson getting it was the fact that Robertson is staying.
Yeah,
that was my only like hope with it. Otherwise, I don't think anybody would have a problem with any of those guys, him, Robo, Ali, getting it. But I know there were a lot of people. I think we were talking about it Monday night or maybe last week about Mecca getting the
armband,
the captain. Yeah, does more for like a long-term thing as opposed to a short-term thing. So where are you with that?
In terms of Mo getting it or Maka not getting it?
I mean, like,
I,
who's getting it at the end of the day? Like, who was, I guess, like your vote? Because I don't know if we ever talked
uh,
about it on a Wednesday morning.
I remember I, and you, myself, and Gordo talked about this a few months ago. And Gordo made a really good point about why Henderson was such a good captain is because let's say he wasn't the most talented footballer. Like he had heart, he had desire, but sometimes technically there's a lot to be desired, and he could relate to the average player, which is what made him a great captain. So sometimes
yeah, I remember him saying that.
Right. I remember him saying that. And if you have Mo as the leader, where he could do what 99% of world footballers can't, it's like having Michael Jordan as your coach. He'll ask you to do something that he knows he can do, but sometimes you can't do it. Right. And that was a great point made by Gordo. I'm 100% for that. But in terms of longevity, that's a checkbox, right? You check that box for him. He's one of our longest serving players. Second, he's dragged us essentially by the neck sometimes through games. So he has that sort of Gerrard factor of a captain where he can just turn a game on his head by himself. And third, the players respect him. The players respect him. The managers respect him. The league respects him. So that's a checkbox. And he's always wanted the armband. He has that hunger. And even though he's accomplished everything that could be accomplished individually and as a team in club football, he's still very hungry. And even though like there might be situations where he might tell a player like, oh, do this, do that, and it might get lost in translation, I feel like that hunger can seep over to the players and just impassion them even more. Because seeing your vice captain just try, even though it's not coming off, just keep going and going and going, can have a great effect on you. Whereas seeing your vice captain not track back and just let his man breeze past him like certain people, obviously that's not ideal. So it's night and day, man. And I'm all for it. Like he's always wanted to wear the armband. Give him a chance.
Yeah, I felt like the only way I'm all for like Mecca, like I say, he's probably like my favorite player to watch in terms of like how he plays right now. But and I got that for like the long-term concept, the way he carries himself and the way he plays and all that kind of stuff. But I felt like it would not go to Mecca unless like Mo and Robertson went in and said, hey, we'll do our leading, just skip us, give it to the long-term future guy that's going to be captain down the years kind of a deal. And I can see a guy like Mo not thinking that long-term and thinking, like he's not thinking like, oh, I got only 2 more years. He might think in his head that he's gonna play even longer and stuff, and he's gonna be around winning things. So, I mean, yeah, if it is Mo, like I say, I don't think anybody could make a huge fuss if it was, you know, like Robertson instead or something like that. But yeah, I think the good thing is when you have so many really good choices for a vice captain, it says all you need to know, I think, about the team and like the recruitment they do and stuff like that. Because I obviously the newcomers you're automatically taken out, but you look at who's already there. I think it's automatically gets like a lot more credibility to how well the squad is built when you have so many freaking candidates to be the vice captain. Yeah, that's odd because I know during the club era they would assign 2 captains and the team voted for like 2 captains, and they were almost like, you know, third and fourth kind of a deal. So I don't know, like he might have changed how that's being done and stuff like that. But I was gonna ask you this because we were talking about this in the game towards the end over there when they were showing like Mo and Van Dijk and stuff on the side. These dudes came out of their contract negotiations and pretty much said it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot happening and stuff like that. Do you think they were given? I highly doubt they were given names, but I almost feel like they were giving certain kind of assurances in terms of what the budget was or what was being planned on doing in terms of like going all in.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at this point of their careers where when they ended the season, they've pretty much done everything, right?
Yeah.
Those two players were Van Dijk can go to the Saudi league, Salah could go to the Saudi league and just see out the rest of their careers making like 2 million a week or something like that. And you couldn't blame them for it.
Yeah.
But them wanting to further, I guess, their legacy, I guess it seemed like number one on their priority list. And for them to choose Liverpool, I agree. There has to be some sort of assurance given that would make that goal more feasible. And we're showing it, and we're seeing it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I sent another tweet, and I feel like we're gonna go talk about it more as the show goes on. Well, we're not done. Right, we're not done. We got 70 million from Diaz. We're still going to get money from Nunez. I'm assuming we're selling him, right? Please, God, I am assuming.
Well,
we're
I
selling
think
him.
that's the question, though, right? I mean, depends on who's giving what. I think when he sees today Ekitike's starting, I don't know if that tells him, yeah, shit, maybe I should go to Saudi, because I think those are the only people who are going to give the money that we're asking for. It doesn't sound like it's coming from Italy.
Do you think we're going to get market value for Harvey? I feel like Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes can work something out there. I mean, they managed.
I mean, you're gonna get what's like when you say market value. I do expect him to get 40 to 50 in a league where like Elanga is getting like 55 and Medovic is getting 50 and stuff like that. I think 40 to 50 is more than fair for a player who is, like especially at his age, he has so much freaking Premier League experience for his age.
Let me pull out the old Google here and look at transfer market, see how much they value him. Closest thing we've got to, I guess, a reliable source with this. So they have him at.
They're pretty darn close.
Yeah. So what they have him as 30 million.
Yeah, no way. I think he goes for at least 40.
You can get. I feel like you can haggle for 40 rising to 50 in add-ons, honestly.
Because one thing I would like to see in an Elliott contract would be similar to the Kwanzaa thing with like some sort of like a buyback.
Really? I just don't think Slot rates him that way, man.
I don't know. We're talking like 5 years from now. God knows who'll be here. I mean, let's hope Slot is still here winning a ton of titles,
fair.
But I'm just saying.
That's fair, I guess.
Or, if the system changes, or more importantly, if Elliott changes. I mean, he suddenly evolves into this dude. I mean, look at some of these players. I was watching, I don't know, like it was a YouTube hole I fell into again the other night, and there was like a footage of Mo playing for Chelsea, like an FA Cup game or something like that, because they were playing like an odd team, so it had to be like an FA Cup or League Cup or something like that. And it's like today's Mo, but much more brutal version of it. You know what I mean? So I mean, look at Kevin De Bruyne. There are these players that you feel like, we wouldn't want him. He's not doing his thing, and then 4 years later they evolve into something much more.
Right, and Harvey certainly got the age. Let me see. While I have transfer market,
he's 23, isn't he?
He's 22.
22. Okay.
I can't believe that, honestly. Like, I feel like Harvey's been around for forever, and he's only 22. Like, God.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. For a guy who's 22 years old, he has so much freaking experience in the Premier League and at the top level, Champions League, you name it. I mean, Trevor says 30 would be if he went abroad. That's like a fair thing to say too. The English tax alone, I would think Tony is at like 45 to 52.
I feel like he stays. I feel like he stays in the league.
I would think there will be a bunch of teams interested in him, and I guess the thing goes back to would they pay the 45 to 50 for him? So that would be the interesting to see. But I think like when Joyce says, I think that's a tweet you regarding. Joyce said today that but I mean, honestly, I could have tweeted it out too, because you're definitely. I mean, there's no way we're ending this window without a center back.
It's different to see the Joyce stamp of approval, man.
Oh, you don't think my tweet means as much as Joyce? Is that what you're saying?
It means something, man. But let me just tell you, like it's like with you, man. It's like I'm driving a Mazda. It's pretty reliable, solid.
Oh, thanks.
With Joyce, it's like I'm driving a BMW, man. Like it's something else.
I don't know where this went. It was going good. I was a reliable Mazda, and I just went up with like a cheap freaking like
I drive a
junk car
Mazda.
at the end.
I drive a Mazda, man. It's awesome. Mazda is awesome. I love Mazda. Fucking hell. I love you, man. You're my guy. Like, I don't know how you
So
interpreted
reliable,
this.
like.
I don't know how you interpreted this like the wrong way. Like,
No, I was like happy with being the Mazda that's reliable, but then you made him a BMW, and I was
because
like, what
he's
the fuck?
freaking Paul Joyce, man. Like, if Paul Joyce tweets that we've secured the Isak deal, isn't that the best feeling in the world?
Yeah, I guess. No, I give you that. I give you that. And I think, I just felt like, it's, I mean, basically the tweet is, it's likely, it's likely that Liverpool carry out more business this summer. Is like saying it's likely that I'm gonna have dinner tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I get what you're trying to say.
I mean,
I get what you're trying
like
to say.
a groundbreaking Paul said kind of a thing. Because I do think, I mean, it's very clear that you have to get another center back in.
Right.
Even though I did make a case today, I threw that out there for Bickler to chew on in terms of, is Slot really serious about at times using Gravenberch as the center back, which will solve that having all four on the pitch at the same time while having a front three kind of thing. Especially like if we're playing Sunderland at home or something like that in a game like that.
He used that situationally though, like the times I've seen him use that, and I would know because I have a freaking camera on Gravenberch every game. We only use that is when we're down and we just need to go all out. And
yes, exactly. When you go all attacking and you need like an extra attacker, you're gonna go like 4 strikers or sometimes like freaking like 5 strikers and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I mean, it goes without saying that there's gonna be definitely like more action, and I would hope that it's a center back and somebody up top, and Isak would be ideal, obviously, and that would be like the ordeal.
Closing out our conversation earlier, so you feel like we're good in midfield?
I think so. I mean, I think there's depth there. I mean, you can argue, hey, but if they sell Elliott, I think you're still fine because what I've seen from Nioni and what we know of him from the past, and I don't know if Slot feels like he's ready and stuff too, but I think you can count him as your like 6th or 7th with no hesitation, and he can come in as, you can sub off Wirtz in the 70th, and you can put Nioni in there, for example.
So you're counting Nioni as a genuine like first teamer.
I mean, you're making him, like I say, you kind of made him your
6th choice because I'm seeing Wirtz, McAllister, Gravenberch.
You made him like your 7th choice, really.
Right.
You still have Endo. You still have
count.
Jones.
Right. I can't count. Yeah, you're right. 7th choice. Yeah.
So I think that's more than okay. But here's the thing, like we saw Elliott playing almost like a right winger. I don't know if he is like, you're not going to see Nioni over there. I mean, I see him more as midfield, attacking midfield. If you need him to, he can play defensive midfield and stuff like that too. So I think he has a shot at, he makes it a lot easier decision to consider Harvey and in terms of price and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he opens that door. We kind of talked about, like Rio doing what he's doing maybe makes the Diaz decision easier. I think they would do that deal at that price if there was no Rio, mind you. But it makes it slightly easier knowing there's somebody there that can potentially pick up some minutes and stuff like that.
We were talking about it a few weeks ago. Where what is that price that is offered for Diaz? Where you go like, you just can't say no. I feel like this is for a player who's
this was way above that, right?
Right,
like
right.
He said, yeah,
right. He's like for a player that's plateaued already. Like he's like good player, but then he's not gonna get any better. He's just gonna get, physically he's just gonna decline. That is excellent money, and given the people we know who are going to reinvest this said money, like I'm really looking forward to who we're gonna get.
I mean, yeah, you got him in. He had a great contribution. I really like his post on the way out as well on the socials too. I mean, God knows how many of these are being written by him or written by somebody else or whatever. Like it could be like, ChatGPT writing his post and stuff too. But I mean, overall, you doubled your money, got really great, 3.5 seasons, I think, of service out of him.
Won everything
big part of the title winning squad. So I mean, you can't really ask for more in terms of how you did business. Bringing a player in leaves on a good note, a good deal for him. Like almost like everybody's happy except Bayern fans because they definitely feel like they overpaid for his services. But that goes to, and that's why like when you talk about like getting attacking options and stuff, I don't know how much is out there that even Bayern had to really, really overpay to make
For
sure they got
Diaz,
their guy kind of a deal. I mean, I know the Rodrigo name is thrown out. We talked about him during the live watch along and stuff too. But yeah, doubled his fee in 3.5 years. I think that's pretty impressive. Not to mention, what you got out of him in 3.5 years. So you got ridiculously good value. Even if he left on a free, you got like a really good value for a guy that I think what came in at like 35 or something like that at the time. So even if he left on a free, it would be a good ordeal because of what you got out of him.
Right.
But to double the fee and sell him like that is like a no-brainer. But
double the fee and won everything there is to win domestically with him as your starter. So nothing.
Let me throw this, by the way, before I forget. It'll be in our socials throughout later on tonight. Definitely tomorrow and a lot of it over the next few days. But obviously, we're doing the 24-hour podathon next Saturday to Sunday. You'll be joining us Sunday morning, right?
Probably
in person.
Yeah, Sunday morning for sure. Saturday morning, I will let you know.
Okay. I mean, we're gonna be there like Saturday. Basically, it ends up being 1:00 Eastern is when we start, and we go all the way on to Sunday, 1 p.m. So it depends on how the game goes. If the game goes normal, then we'll probably do the season predictions during the last hour and bring everybody on. If not, if it goes to penalty kicks or something like that, I'm assuming there's no overtime and it goes to penalty kicks. I haven't looked at the format. Normally, you don't care much about the Community Shield unless your team is in it, kind of a deal. But yeah, we're gonna be there. You're gonna be joining us. But everything else has already started because we have like 10 days to go over here. So I'll shoot the links. It would be awesome. I don't think this is basically just launched yesterday. So as of now, I don't even know if that works properly in the link over here. Let me copy link again and post it in there. But for some reason, there we go. That should work right here. There's the GoFundMe link right there in the comments. I think because we just launched it, there's nothing yet. Let's see who's the first one in over here to get the first. It says the first donor badge over there. So this is basically the GoFundMe that's going to support the 24-hour podathon with our sponsors and the silent auction we're doing at the same time. And let me throw this over there. This is basically because of Tony. People in the UK can't thank Tony for this, but this our morning show sponsor, Jayla Fashion. So they're helping us along with this as well. So huge thanks to them. But there's 3 designs. The first 3 designs you see over there for the 23 Foundation. All the profits go directly to this fundraiser as well, and the listings over there enable you to donate extra aside from buying the shirt, and you get to have us 3 bozos sign it if you wish to do so for an extra $15.
Nice.
So we can like sign it over there and send it your way afterwards. But yeah, please do what you can, especially for the GoFundMe. Honestly, only sometimes a couple of small donations are a lot more valuable because it gives everybody a chance to say, oh, okay, like I don't need to put gazillion dollars. If this guy put $5, $10, then I can do $5, $10. And honestly, those are sometimes more effective because obviously if a bunch of people do $10, $25 donations, it goes up and there's always a few coming in, putting in larger quantities. But, whatever you can afford, I'm hoping to get this started. So when we do launch it with the socials to the larger audience, there's already some bids and the action has already started. And some awesome stuff. There's a Diaz jersey, actually. So now it becomes an even bigger collectible. There's a Diaz signed jersey. There's a Milner signed jersey.
Imagine if I win that.
What was that?
If I win the Diaz signed jersey.
Yes, I will maybe bid and buy it for you. There's a Milner jersey. There's a jersey signed by Milner and Hendo. There's a jersey signed up by Divock, artist formerly known as Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Who?
And Milner.
Probably lowest value.
Yeah,
that
it's
one.
like two guys and then this other dude. So there's 3 signatures from like the title winning jersey of 19 to 20 season, and that signed alley glove donated by Joanne Healy out of that. Rasta Crab says, I need the Trent jersey. Well, there you go. There's your opportunity, man. Go to the silent auction. Go ahead and bid on that. I should probably throw the link for that as well.
Starting bid Trent jersey like 50 cents. Like, I would not pay more than 75 cents for a Trent jersey.
But it has Divock. I mean, there's the catch over there. It has Divock and Milner's signatures as well. So it's one signed by like all 3 of them. I'll shoot a link for that as well. So yeah, if you want to start the bidding over there, obviously it gets that action going. But the GoFundMe in there, like you say, $5, $10 really doesn't matter. It all goes to the 23 Foundation. Last year, everything combined, we were able to do $5,000. So the goal is to definitely beat that this year. But need a lot of help, man. We do really need the help. It hasn't been the fastest start, to be honest with you. We have 10 days to go, but we still have 12 hours that are left to be sponsored. And like I say, we did launch the foundation, and I did share it on Discord, but we have yet to get any donations yet. So if you're in the audience right now, throw in some cash and be the first donor over there, or get some bids in, and also go harass your supporter club to see if they will donate 1 hour of the podcast. 24 hours. I'll tell you what, when I woke up at freaking 5 in the morning and started doing it, I had flashbacks of last year, 3, 4 in the morning. I was kind of getting dizzy, and I was like, this was not a good idea.
This is why
24-hour thing.
This is why I want to like dedicate a time to Saturday to seeing you guys, which I'm trying to find out, because while I'm going there on Sunday, I don't know if you guys would be coherent enough to make conversation with me.
Probably not.
That's my like. I want to talk to you guys. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna be getting any response. You know what I mean? Like.
I think it was 23 hours in when Bickler literally said, "Where am I?" When we were doing the season predictions, that season prediction show at the end. But yeah, it does get rough. 24 hours straight. Like I say, I thought it would be a lot easier. I'll be honest with you. And we're not gonna have the comfy chairs. But if you're in the New York area, do visit us. We're gonna be at Carragher's doing it for Jamie Carragher. So thanks to those guys for rolling the dice and risking hosting us. Not to mention locking us in overnight with access to whatever the hell is in that bar over there. But yeah, if I drank, I would definitely not make 24 hours. That's another thing I learned at the Milwaukee German Fest, that once I get only 1 or 2 beers, it just makes me sleepy is all it does. So
it's the carbs,
definitely
man.
Won't be drinking.
It's the carbs, yeah. Like
it isn't what it is. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of coffee and tea. That's what survived me last year. So gonna be hopefully doing a lot of that. But yeah, it should be fun. If you're in the New York area, do stop by. Obviously, the second day is going to be the match day. So hoping there'll be a good crowd turnout over there. But yeah, if you do want to see us coherent, probably the first 12. I mean, shit, we can't even stay coherent 1 hour. But you know, if you the first 12 hours a lot better bets than the last 12 hours. People still don't understand. So I have been putting it into all the descriptions, because people think, as when I told Gally and Bickler about this, Gally thought as well that, you know, we were going to do 8 hours each or something like that to do 24 hours. That's way too goddamn easy. So we're doing 24 hours straight instead.
I would take a step further and say, you know, last year after you guys did the first one, I saw quite a few channels in the Liverpool space following suit. So I would dare say you guys have uncharted territory. You know, you guys are trailblazers. Like American Scouts are trailblazers for that format. Like we started.
I gotta put this in over here, because he told us this. He sent us this video before like we did the first one.
Who is he?
And like Jamie. And I think it was just this right here. I'll play this and then we'll talk about it.
Carragher here, and I just want to give a little shout out to the American Scout set and all the supporters branches over there in the US. And I want to say a big good luck to the 24-hour podathon. Never heard of that before, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of people tuning in. I'll be one of them as well, and to give me a little idea there as well. So maybe I can copy off you and maybe bring it to some of the podcasts I've been on myself. So it's a brilliant idea, great initiative, and thanks for all your support for the 23 Foundation.
And copy they did. So they did actually like a 12-hour, I think. I can't remember. It was like the Anfield Rap or Redman TV.
Redman, yeah.
It was Redman, right? Like did a 12-hour and stuff, but not 24 hours straight, baby, because you have to sacrifice the body, you know, put it on the line over there. Because it's definitely Gally definitely had a sciatica. We found out afterwards that Bickler possibly had COVID during the 24-hour podathon. So yes, battling against the elements over there, and then you'll be joining us in person. We'll have a bunch of like guests, some surprise ones as well that we're working on. Hopefully some big names, but I have a ton of videos being sent our way, supporting the cause from people like, and what a gentleman he is, by the way, George Sefton, Abigail, who has donated stuff. We have some books signed by Mr. Sefton himself, for example, in the silent auction. Jeff Golding, Keith Salmon, all these guys sending autographed books for the silent auction and stuff like that. So it's been great. It's been great in that sense. But need your guys' help. Really, really need the help in spreading the word. I think we kind of rely on our core audience, which is a lot larger than we did have this time last year, by the way. But we really rely on you guys to help spread the word, get us some sponsors, and definitely start the donation process over there.
The goal is to do this for a third year next year, right?
If we're still alive. This is I'm calling it second annual. So from this point on, I mean, we might be at Carragher's, we might be doing it at different locations. Maybe we'll take it on tour or something like that. But I know I was speaking to someone who was actually with Redman TV, and he was actually telling us to take it on the road over there to Liverpool, like at a pub in like Liverpool and stuff like that. So maybe we'll do something like that. But first, let's beat the hell out of this $5,000 we did last year. So give us a help. Like I say, spread the words, donate a little bit, get the donation action started, and then hopefully we'll do the numbers. Anything is more than zero, right? Anything gives the foundation. I mean, they do so much, man. I mean, I was talking to Mike from the foundation, and they get so many requests, and I'm sure it's heartbreaking not to be able to address and help all of them. But something like $5,000 enables them to like kind of do it, like, support like maybe like 10 different causes with that money and stuff like that, 10 different projects. So everything. Tony says, yeah. Well,
listen,
honestly,
I
if you
had
ask
to double.
Gally, he pretty much did it like that last year.
Yeah, I had to double take. Like, surely that's a typo, my friend. Surely that's a typo.
Spell check is not working over there. But that'll be it for us today. Some exciting days happening over here. Obviously, when is our next game, by the way?
I think we have one against. We have like the one at Anfield, right?
We had the back-to-back action with Athletic Club, and that's next Monday, actually. By the way, when you go to Google and search Liverpool schedule right now, it puts all these fireworks and
I know, right?
World League champions. So yay! Maybe we missed it. We turned it off. Maybe there was like a presentation. But yeah, next Monday is when the boys are back doing that double match against Athletic Club. One that's in the morning and one in the afternoon, kind of a deal. But we'll be back tomorrow night. The gang will be here. Not the bulk crew anymore because Kazi is in Liverpool, but Kenny is joining the gang. Z,
honorary
Ryan
board
Shelton,
member,
and Mecca. Yep.
Honorary member.
But yeah, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.